Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels, and have not charity, I am becoming as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity. 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. That 11th verse, when I became a man, I put away childish things. I think read in context of this gives us an insight. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There was also another quote we read yesterday about how men of intemperate minds cannot be free. Their passions forge their own fetters. That was Edmund Burke. See, when you become a man, you have the ability to comprehend the value of liberty. With children, things are always black and white, up and down. That's why when adults were talking, at least when I was young, children were not involved. This man, however, Thomas Jefferson, and many of his compatriots from the day, today would be seen as criminals. You ever wonder why you're waking up with a headache? Ever wonder why out of nowhere, all of a sudden your head will hurt? It's because people are trying to cling to two different value systems that are completely divorced from one another. They think they believe something from the Bible that says one thing, and then they think they believe something else from the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution that says virtually the opposite. And they can't rectify the two in their mind. They can't resolve it. In today's video over at Patreon, we talk about this. We show something. And we're going to be delving into it much deeper in the coming weeks. It's called the anchoring effect. For $1 per month, you can join us over at Patreon. Believe me, it'll be worth your time. If not, that $1 is refundable. It's even less than $1 per month if you sign up for an entire year. We have a lot of people over there right now, and everybody is saying the same thing. It's worth the time. And it's critical. People have been talking for years and years about what they should prepare for. When is the big collapse coming? Well, the reality of what happens when governments collapse, when societies collapse, is very different than what people plan for. So you can stockpile food and you can stockpile weapons, and you can prepare for fresh water and all this kind of stuff. But what happens to the mind, nobody is preparing for, except for here at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. We've been able to partner with Vimeo to tell the truth, because the truth sometimes hurts, and the truth is meant for adults, not for children. I would also like to address something I said yesterday that many people have taken issue with, that I have some problem with the term family-friendly. Family-friendly is a YouTube euphemism for we couldn't find any other way to censor your video, so we're just going to call it non-family friendly and take away your money. That's all it's about. Because there are places when you upload a video that you have to declare whether the video is meant for children or meant for adults. All of my videos are defaulted to meant for adults only, not aimed at kids. But people say, but Florida Maquis, you say we can't judge people. You said we couldn't judge even pedophiles. Funny story. Neither did Abraham Lincoln. See, during his era, the age of consent was what? 10, in some places it was 7. You could actually sell your children into indentured servitude to pay off debts. Did you know that? He never said a word about it. Neither did Woodrow Wilson, FDR, Roosevelt, Washington, even Reagan. None of them addressed that issue ever, whatsoever, even though during their eras, the things that went on by modern standards would have been seen as criminal. Especially when you get back Washington, Madison, Jefferson, in their era. See, this morality that we ascribe today to them didn't really exist. Because the things that they did back then, by their standards of morality, would be horrific to us today. So is morality cultural, or is morality biblical? People love to pull out that modesty hammer. And I'll say this again, I've said it before. See, this whole thing that happened over in Little St. James Island. You ask any of those people I just pictured, the first question out of their mouth would be, where's the child? Where's the child? You said there was some crime against a child. Well, I don't see a child anywhere. Who? And of course, everybody would be mouth agape and aghast and, completely shocked. You see, the standards of decency and morality and righteousness, they vary. See this picture in the center, woman from the 1880s, 1890s, looking at a woman from the 1920s. See this woman right here, dressed all in black, knees covered, arms covered, short hair like this. That was seen as wildly inappropriate. Just beyond their understanding. They wanted this to be criminalized. Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan. Imagine this particular woman seeing Nancy Reagan in this looks like what, the 1940s? Completely uncovered, way below the shoulder. The Bible also says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Nancy Reagan consulted with them on a regular basis. And don't get me started on the prior First Lady and her history. And modesty. See, the modern evangelical movement has boxed themselves into a corner. When I was younger, I wasn't allowed to stay up and watch The Tonight Show. Now, some people say The Tonight Show, that's completely fine. It was really funny. Johnny Carson was great. I look back now, they actually have them on YouTube, and you can go back and you can watch and listen to what was said and the behavior, and now I get it. I get why, even on Friday nights, when there wasn't school the next day or in the summer, I wasn't allowed to watch this. See, it's all about perspectives. And a lot of people say the 1970s, boy, that's the good old days compared to now. Go back and watch and listen. See, people think this is the end of the world right now. This is the evidence of a completely depraved society and a collapse of morals and all this kind of stuff. They're just willingly blind to history. They want to conveniently forget what went on in the 70s, what went on in the 40s. In the 1940s, you could start a family with a 13-year-old legally, as long as there was marriage. If you'd like to get a deeper understanding of the addicted brain, the dopamine effect, and the anchoring effect, and why if you don't know about it, you're toast, join us over at Patreon. How to reconstruct your mind like a castle. How to create guard gates and walls and secondary guard gates and a tower that you can exist in where none of this affects you. Join us over at Patreon. This was my job. This was what I did in the military. Some guys were door kickers, some guys were snipers, some guys were air cav and super soldiers and infantry and all this. I was a human intelligence guy. My job was to understand the human mind and how it works, what makes it tick. And believe me, it's a humbling experience. You learn very quick what your vulnerabilities are, what everybody's vulnerabilities are. Just because you know this doesn't make you immune. That's why you have to have the guard gates. That's why you have to have the walls. Because nobody's immune. We'd love to have you. We really appreciate the folks at Vimeo giving us the opportunity to take the gloves off. Once again, $1 a month. That's it. Like I said, if it could be less, I would charge less, but that's the minimum they allow me to charge. Would love to see you there. We got a brand new video up today. It's the 7th that we've put up in the last month in a series, Gloves Off, where we talk about things in a very real way. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.